Hello there, and welcome to a Bundesliga preview. Now, I haven't really done a preview of the Bundesliga before. I'm going to give it an attempt. I feel that I'm starting to learn a little bit more about the league, and hopefully we'll be able to transform that into some sort of preview video here. I might get some things wrong. We're only human. I'm still learning, but hey, feel free to let me know anything in the comments below that might help me learn on my journey to learning more about the Bundesliga. Now, we have 4 games coming up this evening. One starting at 5:30, the big game that everyone is looking forward to. First and foremost, Bayern Munich versus Borussia Dortmund. I've got that the wrong way around, but Borussia Dortmund are at home. You know what I'm talking about anyway. I've got the table up here for you to look at. Feel free to have a look at that while I explain what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be looking at the team form for all of the games that are happening tonight. We're going to look at Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich last. So we're sort of going to build up to what the main event would be, even though that is going to be the first game that is happening tonight at 5:30. Now, let's get into the first team here, or the first 2 teams. Werder Bremen versus Monchengladbach. Now, if you look at the form of the last 6 games of these 2 teams, you would assume that Borussia Monchengladbach would be the favourites for this one, and that might actually be a key thing here as well. Mönchengladbach are doing pretty well in the table. They're in 5th position, whereas Werder Bremen are in 17th. Now, it's just, when you look at the run of results, it doesn't look great, and this obviously goes back before the pandemic as well, before the coronavirus paused all sport in the world as well, so this gives us a good guide of what was happening since then. Now, Werder Bremen on the last time out did beat Freiburg 1-0, so that was good for them. It actually gave them a little bit of a boost, maybe even in esteem, but they are still way down there in the table. They've got a lot of work to do to get themselves out of those guaranteed relegation places as well. Borussia Mönchengladbach, on the other hand, have actually had a fairly okay run of form. 3 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. Not too much to really be worried about, but when we look at their position in the table, Mönchengladbach, they're in 5th. They look pretty much secure at this moment in time of having a European spot. Even if it's only Europa League, whatever, they are 1 point behind Bayer Leverkusen, who are also in action tonight. We'll be looking at theirs in the penultimate preview of this video. So they're 1 point behind. They're definitely not out of the Champions League places just as of yet. And the team that they lost to last time out was Bayer Leverkusen 3-1. The Kai Havertz show with a goal and a penalty as well in that game. Now, when you look at it, on the face of it, they've come up against some tough opposition. The 2 teams that they've lost against in this run of form here, even back to the 7th of March and all that sort of business, Borussia Dortmund, high and riding high, going up against against Bayern Munich for the title. It's going to be a difficult game. Looks like it was a close game as well, being a 2-1 loss. Leverkusen, again, Leverkusen are on a really good run of form at the moment. Kai Havertz is hitting his stride. Well, seems to be picking his stride back up from way before the pandemic anyway. It's going to be a tough game there as well. But you would assume, coming up against Werder Bremen, who, as I say, they're 17th in the table, you would handily assume that Borussia Mönchengladbach will pick up the victory here. And who is going to be the people that would stand out for Mönchengladbach? I don't know. I think Thuram is probably the striker. I think he's the striker for Mönchengladbach anyway. And it seems like whenever he's on the pitch, he scores goals. In fact, I'm pretty sure if we go back and look at this game, if we can, he was the person who scored for Mönchengladbach as well. So listen, while I don't know a great deal about these 2 teams, having seen and looked at the form guide and seen what I've seen so far performance-wise since the Bundesliga has come back, I'm going to go for a Borussia Mönchengladbach win. I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory. I don't think Werder Bremen are going to cause too many problems, but let me know what you think in the comments below. We move on to the very next game, which is Frankfurt versus Freiburg. 2 teams which are not in the best of form. And let's have a look. Where are Frankfurt right now? Eintracht Frankfurt are 14th in the league. And they are coming up against Freiburg, who are... Where are we looking? Freiburg. Freiburg are 7th. That's quite surprising, actually, because they've got a similar run of form. They really have. 3 losses, 1 win, 2 draws for Freiburg. Makes it a little bit better than Frankfurt, who have got 4 losses, 1 win and 1 draw. Now let's have a look as well. Leverkusen, Monchengladbach, Bayern Munich. So Frankfurt's losses have come up against, your top 4 level teams, to be honest. Obviously, we've got a couple of Europa League ties in there as well. Whereas Freiburg, Werder Bremen, they lost there against the team that's 17th in the league. Yes, they lost against Dortmund. They've lost against Fortuna Dusseldorf, who again, I think, 16th in the league. So Freiburg at the moment seem to be doing a little bit of a Schalke, by the looks of things. They don't seem to be performing to where they are in the league. And Frankfurt have come up against some unfortunate teams for them. Mönchengladbach coming up against Bayern Munich. The other big loss in the league for them was Leverkusen 4-0. Another strong team that's ahead of them in the league. So you could say Frankfurt would be odds on to win this game. Now, it depends how much these losses to the big teams in the Bundesliga have hurt Frankfurt. And the fact that Frankfurt are at home, regardless of whether they've got no audience, no crowd, no fans or anything like that in the stadium, it could still help them, could still play in their way. I don't think that that's a thing. I think that now form is neutral, even though there's no fans or anything like that, because even if you're at home or away, there's no atmosphere. There's nothing there. You've just got to play your football. And to be fair, Eintracht Frankfurt are way down there. Freiburg are where they are. They're in 7th right now. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below about this game, because for me, on the face of it, they've scored goals against Mönchengladbach. They've scored goals against Bayern Munich. Do Frankfurt have enough in their team to be able to get this victory? I'm not sure. I'm going to sit on the fence, to be honest, and I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for a score draw of 1-1 between these two. But I think if there is going to be a winner, I'm actually going to go for Eintracht Frankfurt. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Now we move on to one of the games that I will be definitely focusing on, which is Bayer Leverkusen, the team that I'm looking at during the Bundesliga's return, primarily just because, I like the look of the team, I like the look of the players, and I like the way that they play football as well. Leverkusen are coming up against Wolfsburg. Now, Bayer Leverkusen sit in 4th position, whereas Wolfsburg are 6th in the league, so it's actually not too far apart. Points-wise, they're 14 points apart from each other, but otherwise, not too different. So, really, let's have a look at Wolfsburg. So they've lost against Dortmund 2-0 last time out. They beat Augsburg on the return of the Bundesliga, drew against Leipzig, drew against Union Berlin, and then I think a Europa League game there as well. Now, Leverkusen, obviously, they have the form right here, and they've got some pretty high-scoring games as well. The first one, 1st of March there, is a draw against Leipzig, but 3-1 against Union Berlin, 4-0 against Frankfurt, 3-1 against Rangers in the Europa League as well, 4-1 against Werder Bremen, 3-1 against Mönchengladbach here. Now, the common theme that we seem to have with Leverkusen right now, just like looking at this last set, 6 games, run of form, they don't keep a clean sheet. Now, I don't think that that's really going to be something that they will have to worry about a great deal against Wolfsburg, because I think that Leverkusen are such an attacking threat going forward. I don't think it's going to matter. I really don't. Let's just click in and have a look at the lineups that they had here against their Mönchengladbach in the last game. So you look at Diaby, Havertz, Bellarabi, people that are going to come in as well. Leon Bailey, he's another dangerous player as well. They've got very dangerous players, very creative players in the midfield as well going forward. And Havertz is the guy that is he's absolutely banging form right now for those guys. So on the face of it, you'd have to say it falls in Leverkusen's lane. It falls for them. It would take a catastrophic sort of error or something for them to pick up a loss. In their last 6 games, overall, they haven't lost. They've only drawn against Leipzig. They've won the other 5 games here as well. And to be honest, I don't expect anything different. I think that they will pick up the victory here. I don't know what it will be. I'm going to go for the fact that... let me think. I'm going to go for the fact that I don't think Wolfsburg, looking at the games that they play here, I just don't think that they threaten enough. They've only scored... Okay, against Malmo, they scored 3 goals. But they either don't threaten enough, and the defence isn't good enough either. Only against Augsburg have they actually won, and they still conceded there as well. This is a very dangerous Leverkusen team, and I do believe that Leverkusen will walk out of there with a 2-3-0 victory. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and then we move on to what people will call the main event of today. two teams that have a very, very, very similar run of form in the Bundesliga, especially. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund picked up a loss against PSG in the Champions League first knockout round, but you have to say, like, they could not be much more similar in terms of form. Just look at them. Look at the difference here. The only difference here is that Borussia Dortmund have conceded one more goal over 6 games than Bayern Munich. Now, you have to also look at, so against Werder Bremen, 2-0 victory, 1-0 against Freiburg, 2-1 against Monchengladbach, obviously a 2-0 loss against PSG here, 4-0 against Schalke on the return, 2-0 against Wolfsburg in the second game of the Bundesliga's return. Then you go to Bayern Munich, high scoring apart from Schalke, 3-0 against Chelsea, Champions League, 6-0 against Hoffenheim, 1-0 against Schalke, 2-0 against Augsburg, 2-0 against Union Berlin, in a game that was pretty much at a canter, to be honest, and then 5-2 against Eintracht Frankfurt, and it probably could have been more as well. They'll be disappointed. Personally, I think they'll be disappointed with the fact that they conceded 2 goals, because it was pretty much one-way traffic most of the day. Now, when you look at... I just want to click in and look at Dortmund's game against Wolfsburg, because I'm pretty sure that they didn't start Sancho. Sancho comes on, and I'm pretty sure this has been the common theme for Borussia Dortmund since the league has come back, is that they haven't been starting Sancho. Now, I'm not entirely sure who he came off for or who he came on for. It might have been Thorgan Hazard, I'm not entirely sure, or it might have been Julian Brandt, looking at the times there. But even so, and you've also got to remember, both teams have got the ability to use 5 substitutions as well, which is very, very good for the league coming back. But will they go with Jadon Sancho in the starting lineup, or will they keep doing what they've been doing and substitute him on? I'm not entirely sure. I think Jadon Sancho has just got he's such a dangerous player. To not start him against Bayern Munich, I think, could be a mistake, because then if we go back and look at Bayern Munich in their last game and the team that they put out against Frankfurt, I mean, it's a very, very strong team, and then they've got very, very strong players to come on as well. You look at Serge Gnabry here, Lucas Hernandez coming on for Boateng, not sure whether that was an injury or not, but they've just got some fantastic players. Alphonso Davies, the young Canadian dream, as a lot of people call him, fantastic. Kimmich, Goretzka, Coman, Muller, Perisic, obviously Lewandowski, who Dortmund will know very, very well as a former player of theirs. They are an exceptionally strong team, and I just wonder, is this going to be the time where the Sancho-Haaland sort of partnership is Marco Reus injured as well? I should have maybe looked that up before this video. But I haven't seen Marco Reus at all. I don't know if he's been on he wasn't on the substitutes bench here. No indications of injuries or anything like that. But I haven't actually looked, to be honest. So I don't know, is Marco Reus injured? Because what a player he would be to come back into this sort of game. And you've got Jadon Sancho, you've got Erling Haaland, who is just an absolute phenom to watch up front. This is going to be an exceptionally competitive game. And I'll be totally 100% honest with you. I don't know which way that this is going to fall. I know that Dortmund are technically at home, but I don't think during this, crowdless time, I don't think that home advantages and that are really a thing at the moment. Since the start of the league has come back, Dortmund haven't conceded. They've looked very well. They've looked very good. Yes, Wolfsburg and Schalke maybe aren't the top tier teams that they could come up against, like a Leverkusen or indeed a Bayern Munich, but they will get tested tonight against Bayern Munich. Definitely. Obviously, Lewandowski is a fantastic striker, and they've got so many good experienced players and young players with them as well. I don't know which way it's going to go. I think that Bayern Munich could be a little bit too much for them, but it depends how Bayern Munich come out as well. If Bayern Munich come out even just a little bit not matching the intensity that Dortmund do, in the fact that when Dortmund get the ball, they're very good at keeping the possession. I think that Bayern Munich will probably have the possession in this game, but Dortmund will be looking to get that ball up front as fast as possible. I'm on the fence a little bit, to be honest, but I'm not going to sit on the fence on this one. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Borussia Dortmund victory, on the pure basis that I'm not sure whether Bayern Munich will match their intensity. Now, I could have this completely wrong and it could go the complete other way. I don't know what the result was in the last time these two teams faced each other in the league. I'm not sure what that was. Probably should have looked that up as well. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 Dortmund win. Let me know what you think in the comments below about all of these games, and whether you like me doing the previews for the Bundesliga as well. If not, I just won't do them. It's not a problem, but I thought I would give it a good go anyway. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. Get your thoughts in the comments box below. Who do you think is going to come out on top in all of these games tonight? Let me know it in the comments below. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you once again, and I'll catch you later.